Whew. Welcome in, folks. This is Babbage here. We're in the long dark, currently in Winding River, getting ready to head out. Let's chow down on wolf meat. Breakfast of champions. Okay. Guess we can take an extra hide.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Roller, welcome in. I'm feeling so much better today. I was busy. Let's see. Last night was Friday night. I spent Friday night wrapping up my final, well, not final, but one of my almost final papers for one of my classes. So it was like the last individual assignment for that particular class. There's a group project and final document we have to turn in for that. That's a collaborative thing, and it's mostly written at this point, so that one's like, it's good to kind of see the end. Anyways, yeah, that was my Friday night, and so today I slept in so late for myself. I woke up initially at around 7. And took my morning medication, and then thought I got nothing going on this morning, so I went back to bed. And then slept until like almost 9 o'clock. No, I guess it was until 8 o'clock. 8:30? 8:30. Got up around 8:30. Went and did my exercise for the morning, and then had breakfast. Just leisurely start to the day. Went to campus and ran a D&D game. My Friday night game had moved to Saturday daytime, so ran a game on campus. Originally I was going to try to take some additional photos on campus, try to find some better headshots, but it was just so gray, and the light was terrible, and dark and overcast. It was like, this is not going to work. So I just ended up going straight home, and then it just started to rain, and it was just cold and wet. And it was like, yeah, let's not do that. So yeah, I don't think I took any other pictures today. I'm still behind trying to track down, like, oh, and I saw the my friend that had taken photos, she sent me the folder of the photos from our photo shoot on Thursday. And I think I was talking with my roommate about them, and I think I understand now why I don't like them. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that even though it wasn't a particularly sunny day, there was something about the quality of light that day that left me squinting a lot in all the photos. And so what happens then is my eyes get really small, and then my face looks out of proportion. And so, yeah, there was something about those photos that had bothered me, and I realized that is what it is. That's why I kept feeling like they were out of proportion. It's because my eyes were shrinking down and squinting so much that, yeah, it just didn't look good. And so everything looked out of proportion because of that. So I think it's possible to get a better set of photos done, but
I can
yeah,
barely walk with this much gear.
may have to rethink it. I also think part of the problem is that my particular friend that was helping me, the best photographs I've had, the headshots I've had, have come when I've been working with someone who knows me pretty well and keeps me talking throughout the whole thing so that I am not paying attention to the fact that we're doing photographs. The more self-conscious, the more aware I am that we're doing headshots and photographs, the more awkward I become and I can't really get good shots. And so I think that was the underlying problem. Is a problem with lighting and a problem with not feeling comfortable at all. So feeling awkward the whole time just didn't really give me much to work with. So it's, I'm not certain what to do about that. I think maybe, hydrate time. So I think maybe I'm going to have to. So what I want to avoid doing is I don't really want to pay for a full headshot session at a professional studio because I do not really have $350 to drop on taking photographs for myself. It's just not. I know it's an investment, but I also feel like that's too much. I think the most I would do is up to 150. I might be able to rationalize that, but like 350, can't do it. Just like, I mean, it's a business expense. I probably could write it off, but I just don't think I would be. Yeah. Looking around here. So I don't know. Deadline for turning in headshots is the end of next week. I'd really hope to have them done this week, but I'm not happy with any of them. I mean, I have a couple shots that I took myself that I think are closer to what I want, but they would be better if I weren't the one taking them. Like if there was a little bit more, they're slightly further back and a better pan, and again, they felt more natural than me like awkwardly posing. Yeah, it is the price difference between practicality and vanity, right? It's like I can't really justify it. I would ask my roommate, but she's already told me she's not very good at taking photos of people, which makes two of us that aren't good at taking photos of people. So it's like, yeah. But I think the other way I can do it is I will be, when I go to my church services tomorrow, I'll ask around and see if there's someone who wants to help me out. I'll say I would cook for someone. I would definitely either take them out to eat or I would cook a meal. And I'm good. I can cook really good. I can cook really good. I cook really good. No, I cook really well. Yeah. Or I'd pay them. I mean, yeah, I remember when that was a thing, where you had to have your annual photos done, especially around Christmas. You'd have to have photos for Christmas time.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
So yeah, anyways, I wrote off my original plan to do photos today, and then I got back and like spent part of the late afternoon, early evening just I did some cooking. I cooked up some more. One of my favorite dishes right now is cooking up like Shanghai thick noodles and making. So what I did was I took some frozen pork chop, and I just I thawed it, but it was still firm, and thin sliced it, and then took a hot pan and heated up some garlic and some ginger and some green onions and the meat with some black pepper sauce, and got that going, then added in some thinly sliced carrots and some Chinese chilies, these chili peppers. Slice them up thin, put them in there as well. Meanwhile, I was boiling this pot with the thick Shanghai thick noodles in them, and I boiled them until they were cooked, or mostly cooked, and then took them out, strained them, let them cool off for a little bit, and rinsed them, and then added them back into the stir fry in the pan. They have a little bit of char, added in a little bit of what was it? Oh, a little bit of chili garlic or chili, crispy chili oil. And what else did we add in there? More green onions. And a little bit of sesame oil and more black pepper. Yeah, it was good food. And made a big batch so that I could have food for the next, it becomes my dinner or lunch option for the next few days. Yep. But yeah, it's one of my favorite dishes. I could have added some bok choy in there as well. Didn't. Oh, that's the other thing I added. I took, so I had green onions, but I also had regular onions, which I had very thinly sliced, like into slivers, and cooked them in there as well. So, because the black pepper sauce is really nice with garlic and the garlic and the regular yellow onions or white onions. Man versus deer ended badly for both of them. I really want to know what the story is here. What happened to these guys? Is this a lover's quarrel gone bad? what happened here. So yeah, so I cooked that up and then had some for dinner, and then stuck the rest in Tupperware. And then my roommate got back from her, she was with the afternoon thrifting, and then had a late lunch with friends, and she got back, and she took a nap while I cooked. And then we went shopping. It was so dark out by the time we went shopping, even though it was like 6 o'clock. It was just dark out. Pitch black. Some unknown disaster. Yeah. Probably a wolf around here somewhere. $19. Yep. Oh, and we're still carrying the extra pot. We didn't need to carry 2 pots. So yeah. But yeah, today was in general a nice leisurely day. Yeah, we only have a few weeks left in my D&D campaign before one of our major, like, party members is going to move away because she's finishing up her degree this term, and then once she's done, she starts work. And she's going to be moving out of the city, so we will lose her. So we may have to recruit another person, but we've got to start planning her exit as well. Like, how exactly is she going to exit out of this campaign? Need to think about that. So. Go check out the cave, see what else we got. No Discord calls? Yeah, this is an in-person campaign, and so I'm doing an online campaign, which I'm starting up shortly. I think I need to recruit a few more people for that one. But that will eventually start on. It'll be most likely on a Sunday night schedule. Yeah, it's not quite the same. If people are used to doing things in person, then it's a little weird to make the adjustment. I've done it before. I've run campaigns that, especially during the pandemic, that started in person and then switched to online. But yeah, not all campaigns survive that transition. And doing hybrid is weird, I think, in our particular case. Like purely online, where everyone's used to being all online, or purely in person. But hybrid, I think, is a little bit tricky. But fine. Still trying to decide what my my mini campaign's going to be, the online one that I'm going to start shortly. I'm debating whether I want to go back and do one of my regular mini campaigns, which I've already like written up and run multiple times. Those are easiest to do, versus something that I write from scratch, do a brand new one. And I like keeping myself on my toes, you know, to do something new. But it does take time to prep the campaign. Sort of takes time. It takes me really, like, the philosophy, the approach I've been taking lately is like I just design some interesting encounters and then weave together a story that, you know, explains. So people, you know, the party makes their choices and then we let the story unfold. Yep, we got a wolf. The wolf is very eager to come introduce himself. Very, very eager. Figures. He's back again. Good enough. Oh, I was going to say my roommate introduced me to some German sweets. At the end of the day, we had a specialty gingerbread and another, I can't remember the name of it, another German chocolate treat as well. Very, very tasty. Very, very different from like American and Canadian sweets, but the gingerbread is very, very like pungent, very spiced, you know. It's like it's got a very strong flavor to it, which is nice, but definitely like you eat one, you don't have like a ton of them, you know. It's fine, interesting. You can have one and you have it apparently with coffee or tea or hot chocolate. It's really good.
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do.
Ooh. I feel like the gingerbread has the ginger, it has, I think, a very distinctive molasses, and then I'm trying to remember what else is in there. But there's like, you take a bite into it, it's like sugar glazed, and they're really like, the moment you take a bite in, it's like the spice just rises, and it's, yeah, so it kind of reminds me of a more pungent, aromatic pumpkin pie, but not exactly. Uh-oh. We got a bear around here. Uh-oh. I can hear him. He's coming for us. Let's hope he doesn't charge. Uh-oh.
Oh, lucky day.
Oh, it isn't. Okay, now that's a lucky day. Holy balls in hell. Okay. That was our little bear encounter. Yeah, it's actually a very simple challenge this time around. We spawned a while ago, and we spun a wheel, and it told us which region we had to go to, which was Blackrock. So the challenge is simply get to Blackrock, but in order to get to Blackrock, you had to basically gear up completely. So gear up and then go to Blackrock. And of course we had the worst possible luck all along the way. It really was total chaos. So we ended up spending 44 days without a bedroll. 44 days without a bedroll at the start of the run. And we also were late so we could travel other places. But yeah, it was a little bit rough. 44 days without a bedroll, late forge, and what else happened? Yeah, we had to do multiple forges because we ran out of metal. But we eventually got everything done. We're still pretty mediocre in terms of gear. We still need to get a better headgear piece here, and we still need to get a sweater or something here, and we still need another wool. So yeah, roll with it is kind of my, if I want to really do hardcore, it's roll with it. Yeah, read up on roll with it. That's the one that's like yeah, my current best is, personal best for Interloper is 303 days, and it was a roll with it run. Yeah, it's D&D TLD, yeah. So we But I finally beat it. I finally beat Roll With It and got to every single region on the map, having to follow those rules. So I failed so many times. I failed like 30 times before we finally got to that Roll With It. And at least one of them, I made it all the way to my last region, which was Blackrock in that case. And I then subsequently died on the first night in Blackrock due to a blizzard plus getting lost in the dark plus Timberwolf attack. So okay. I don't think we want to... We're not climbing down. We're going to goat down, but we're going to find a better place to go. But yeah, there were some great runs. It's a lot of fun, but it's super aggravating. Like every time I lost on the last possible, like, stay, you know, midway through or something, I'm just like, yeah. Or be so close to finishing and then mess up, you know. Okay, let's look for a way down here. Will we find a spot down? This seems like a bad idea here. Not a good goat spot. Keep trying, find a better goat spot. Oh yeah, if you want to try another, like, really random thing, try this. I have a custom settings random generator. So I wrote a little custom settings random generator, so if you ever want to do a completely custom challenge... Uh-oh. You can do it. Okay, time to make our life easier. So, do you have to copy everything if you choose a difficulty? You unfortunately do. So you've got two options. One is Yeah, if you do random, you're going to get a random seed. The random seed is based on previous generated settings that I then have already punched in to get the seed out. And so I have the survival code saved. I have a bunch of them saved up. There is unfortunately no way to... So Hinterland did not make available sort of how they encode the survival codes. So like, yeah, so you can't reverse hash it, to produce the code. So it's instead I have to actually punch them all in and then build up a bank of survival codes. Now, some of the survival codes in, like, if you choose, like, let me pull this up here. Let's see. Wait, is it generators? Okay, there it is, loaded up. Yeah, so let me do a little screen share here, and you can see how this works. So yeah, so if you choose Random Challenge Generator 2.2, right? You go here, and you'll see that right now it's on Pilgrim. You could go Interloper. So one of the things you'll see here is basically that it evaluates the difficulty setting based on, so the baseline Stalker, Interloper, Voyager, Pilgrim, I have assigned a numeric value to all the, or numeric, I've quantified all the default settings for each of these, and, at Pilgrim and then Voyager, whatever. Anyways, whatever the settings calculate to, if I choose Stalker here, what I'm getting is a difficulty that is between Stalker and Interloper. If I choose Interloper, this is at least as difficult as Interloper, if not more difficult than Interloper. And then you can also get a random survival code. We'll just choose one of the ones I've already done. So I ran through the random challenge generator with Pilgrim, Voyager, Stalker, Interloper, and made several of each and punched them all in and then pulled out the codes and stored them. So you can do random, which will draw from any of these, or you can choose Interloper, which will give you, at least a baseline. This will be harder than Interloper. And then that's Stalker. Now, some of the ones that are in there are really, really brutally hard. Like, what is it? Eternal Night, with extra predators who have far detect, so they detect you at far range, and can attack you in the middle of a fire. It's just really bad. So some of them are really, really bad. I found like doing the Interloper Plus ones were actually pretty hard to get going. They really are hard. But they also were a little bit less interesting. So these ones, you punch in the code and you can choose to just run with it without looking at the settings and just start it. And then choose a random start. Anyways, kind of a fun diversion. We did that for a while and then we got bored. So but yeah, so I think what I enjoyed most is the roll with it. Although I tend to space it out now because having beaten it, I'm kind of waiting for the next release so that I get the a new zone to go to. But yeah, the roll with it will burn you out. It's really, really hard. It's one of those challenges that on the surface you think, oh, this can't really be that hard. And then you realize if you're locked in a region and you don't know how long you're going to be there when you start. So like you don't roll until after you arrive.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Then planning becomes a lot more complicated. Yeah, and it definitely is like harder because you don't know. You really don't know. Okay, I think we're just going to camp out here tonight. Go ahead and dump all our... Eat all the meat up. You lived in zone of contamination blind for 20 days. So when the last run we did, it was our first time we went to, so on the successful run for Roll With It, we rolled 20 days in airfield, Forsaken Airfield. And then we went to Zone of Contamination, which was a brand new zone at the time. I had not looked at it. I had looked briefly at the map to get a general sense of where the entrances and exits would be, but I had not like studied like a lot of videos. I went in pretty blind. And as soon as I arrived, I rolled 20 days. So we spent 20 days in Zone of Contamination, knowing pretty much nothing about Zone of Contamination, other than like rumors that there's a big mine area, and there are like other things to pay attention to. But yeah, so I survived 20 days there with with very little knowledge about the map. And so, yeah, we survived 20 days there. We lucked out. We scavenged a few carcasses and then killed a deer and some rabbits. And then we found a bear. And we killed the bear and we lived off of bear meat for the rest of the 20 days. And that's how we survived. Okay, let me just sleep here. You threw it all in the mine. Yeah. I honestly have yet to do like a serious mine delve in Zone of Contamination. Have I seen the bear den in Zone of Contamination? I'm not certain I've seen... Is there a very particular one? I'm not certain I've seen... Oh, is there... So where, like... Did I find the den? I think I found the den. So it was at, I think I went through the cave system, the tunnel system to get into Zone of Contamination from airfield. So I navigated through all that mess and I got through eventually and got to the Zone of Contamination. And then just outside the exit there is like, you know, frozen lake area. and some upper regions that you can get to. I went up into the upper region, and then that's where I eventually found a bear, and I killed the bear and I lived off the bear. So. You heard the bear breathing outside the cave used as the base. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain. But there is definitely a bear in the region. Yeah, I know. I killed the native. Okay. Let's see. We've got lots of reishi. And look at all these crappy torches. Inside you are two bears. Yeah. It's the one you feed. Okay, anything we need to fix? I actually want to make a some mittens. Okay, so we want to keep all our pelts right now. Yeah. Might as well take care of these while we're here. Oh, we don't have enough. Okay. Oh, you know what we haven't done yet? Oh, let's make some new torches because we need those.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
So one of the things I'm looking forward to when I wrap up my classes for this term, so like if I get through, when I get through this next week, so let's see, I'm mostly done by the end of this coming week. And once my classes are done, Then I'm just working until the 17th. I fly back to Saskatchewan on the 17th. Then I'm spending 12 days home in Saskatchewan with family for Christmas. But one of the things that I will try to fit in is I want to do some streams again with me working on interactive fiction games. Since I hopefully will have more time to do that. So you'll get to see more of the project I've been working on and off for the last few years, called Into the Dark Woods. Want to finish that. I don't know if finish, but at least I'll get further on it over the break. Because it's been a while since I've did some game dev streams. And then I also have this Python game that I wrote that I want to keep working on as well. So I got 2 game projects to work on. Okay, buddy. What do you got? Nothing. How about in here? Anything?
This will come in handy.
Okay, the worst hat in the world. Okay. I see you.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, we don't have any meat on us. That's good. Where is everyone? I think it's a bear on the far end. Where are wolves? Weird.
Jeez, this is cold.
So one of the things I find kind of odd is the sudden increase in the last week or so of Facebook friend requests from clearly AI generated people. Like their Facebook profile pics are clearly AI generated, and then their profiles are pretty generic and meaningless. Then the content on their page is non-existent, or clearly, filler. So, like, what's going on? Why are they suddenly pushing hard on these Facebook fake profiles? Okay.
Come on, little fire.
Nope, they're the wolves. I see wolves. We're still not warm enough? -13. We're not warm enough. Yeah, generated commercials are pretty terrifying. I don't think we need anything else from this guy. We still have plenty of guts. Wolves are moving closer. What do I think about AI? That's a great question. I think the reasons why we come to literature and art are because we are looking for something human in that connection. AI, as it stands, most trainable AIs, are going to put together things that are probabilistic, which is to say, what phrases, what combination of words are likely to fit together. And that's how it creates something that feels readable, feels passable, but it won't be innovative. Sometimes it might be surprising, but it won't necessarily have deep meaning because it is impossible at this stage for AI to understand, to truly understand what it is doing. It has a sort of a comprehension, like it might erect something of a system, and an internal logic of what it's doing, but it doesn't understand what that really means. So any sense of meaning that we're ascribing to what we see out of AI is really the ghost of it. It's the illusion of it. It's usually what's left over of the human that it's borrowing or stealing or plagiarizing those words from. Sensitive teeth toothpaste actually works. Yeah, so what I think AI is capable of doing is pattern recognition and inferring something out of a pattern. So like it can see patterns, it can, form, extrapolate, because basically what it's doing is it's developing a model. You tell it a predictive model. And that's what it's doing when it's writing text too, is it's developing a predictive model for what is likely, this framing of words, what's likely to be the next or a valid set of words for that particular author or that particular like profile that you've set up for it. You can ask it to pretend to be someone and then have it write something in that style, or pretend to be, a combination of people. And all it's doing is it says like, okay, I'm going to figure out like roughly what is a predictive model for generating text that feels like it came out of this person's mouth. But do they understand it? No, it doesn't understand. Okay. But yeah, so I'm a writer, but I'm also a former computer science. Like I have a computer science undergraduate degree, and I worked as a computer games programmer for a number of years. And so I have worked, not with this generation of generative AI, but I have studied artificial intelligence before, and I've put a fair bit of thought into it. Until it improves itself, like can it, I mean, in a sense, you can ask it to, say like, to a certain degree, you can have it optimized. You can always tell it things like, pretend you are an expert in this particular field. And then it will develop a more like robust model for how it's going to produce answers. Are you talking effectively a singularity? We're talking like the AI or technological singularity where you have machines or AIs that are capable of altering themselves or building a next generation that transcends or goes beyond what the human can understand. So like when we do not understand what it is doing to optimize or improve itself, then we're in the territory of
this pack is getting too heavy.
so like understanding what it is and and having a model for what it is and being able to update it are slightly different things.
Okay.
I think AI can help us, but I do not think it can replace us at this point. Although there are people that basically are, I don't know, there are certainly jobs that are replaceable. But one of the problems that AI has right now already is that in order for AI to improve, it has to consume a massive amount of information. And increasingly, what's available information-wise is generated by AI. So now we're at the stage where AI is training itself on itself, and that will lead to increased hallucinations and failure. What it really needs is more human-generated content, but people keep using AI to displace humans in generating content. So that's kind of a key problem that's happening here. Oop, all this food. So at what point does AI start improving itself, not because we tell it to improve itself, but because it desires to improve itself? Then that's self-awareness. Can two AIs endlessly train from each other? No, it's like the problem is like they can't do quality control. So there's always a risk that they're going to hallucinate and then feed each other hallucinations, and then they will increasingly go further and further off track. We can make we can also make potatoes. Let's make pancakes. I don't think AI will ever be truly self-aware. That's my short answer. I think that short answer is I don't think AI will be truly self-aware, but I also think that we have a problem in evaluating intelligence because we use human measures to evaluate intelligence. So we only recognize intelligence as human intelligence. We don't know how to evaluate things that are non-human intelligence. So we compare it to human intelligence, but it may be actually completely false. We may actually not be able to recognize real intelligence if it's not human. So yeah, we got some interesting problems with that. Let's see here. What do we want to put down? We want to put down our potatoes. Yeah, and that's actually, you know, so I wrote my PhD dissertation on 19th century artificial intelligence. And one of the insights that I had, you know, that came out of that study was all that research and writing was the fact that you know, whenever we set out to build an automaton, that's a 19th century sort of idea or earlier idea of building something that is a model of what we think we understand about the human body or what we think we understand about intelligence. We build something because we think we understand it. It becomes an embodiment or an enshrinement or an incarnation of a particular model of the universe or a model of thinking. So we think this is how the brain works. This is how thinking works. And almost immediately we realize we're wrong because it turns out that it doesn't actually work that way. And we have this jarring moment where we realize, we look at it and we recognize it as actually not matching our experience at all. So what do you do with chimpanzees and other apes that have learned how to use tools, or ravens and crows, corvids that know how to use tools to solve problems? So, you know, we call that intelligence, right? What if you're a creature that has no means of you have no limbs that can be functioning in order to manipulate things. So like let's say you're looking at blue whales or something like that. How about birds that build nests? Yeah, are they intelligent? How about beavers? Are beavers intelligent? What do you do with carpenter ants or other ants that are architectural in terms of what they do? So if something is a product of a hive mind, then there's a hive intelligence, a collective intelligence, or is it genetic? We don't know. We don't really fully understand a lot of these things. We're trying our best. Yeah. Hey, that's what you get. Geeky Conversations as advertised. I'll go deep into something here. Okay, so what about, we've already searched all this stuff. We got another pot here. Let's drop all our excess. I thought that was going to turn into something useful. Looked in there already. Let's go in.
I'll take it.
The plot thickens, exactly. So is it more of a creature that can build something that adapts to the present situation? They build as a problem solver. They're not merely a tool user, but they are able to adapt and build something on the fly. So if we measure intelligence in that way, what do we do with all the humans that can't do that? Ooh, okay, we're going to get into the dissertation again. Thank you, Roller, for redeeming that. Okay, so do a quick scan of this room and then we'll go and read from the dissertation. Want to rewind to the very beginning? Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let's read something from the dissertation Roller has requested. Pull open the file. Research, dissertation, final version. Okay. So this is my dissertation, which I wrote for my PhD in Literature and Creative Writing at USC. I wrote on the title of the dissertation is 19th Century Artificial Intelligences, Thinking Machines, Mechanized Minds, and the Victorian Detective. And we'll just jump right into the introduction here. Okay. Introduction. When we speak of artificial intelligence, we generally think of it as an idea originating in the middle of the 20th century, not long after the invention of the digital computer, inspired by Alan Turing's 1950 watershed essay, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, and coined as a term in the 1956 Dartmouth Conference organized by Marvin Minsky, John McCarthy, and other early computer and cognitive scientists seeking to explore the conjecture that, quote, every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it, end quote, McCarthy. From the 1950s onward, there was an explosion of literary and film representations of thinking computers and robots. In post-World War II Japan, Osamu Tezuka introduced the comic book hero Astro Boy, 1952, as an optimistic look at the good a future robot could accomplish. Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, 1956, spawned generations of descendants, including R2-D2 and C-3PO from Star Wars, 1977, and TARS from Interstellar, 2015. Each of which reinforced the trope of robot as helper and sidekick rather than protagonist and hero. Sentient computers also proliferate the post-1950s artificial intelligence boom. We encountered the brutally authoritarian Alpha 60, who oversees techno-dystopic city in Jean-Luc Godard's Alphaville, 1965, as well as the infamous HAL 9000 from Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968, and numerous other malevolent, artificially intelligent computers that offer terrifying and cautionary visions of the future. However, not every computer harbors a malicious mind. Some, like Kit from the old Knight Rider series, or Holly from Red Dwarf, offered a glimpse at the humorous side of artificial intelligence. Films like Her, 2013, and anime series like Ghost in the Shell, 1995, offer opportunities to consider the nature of the relationship between human and machine, and what future issues may yet arise as society comes to terms with the non-human intelligent others we create intentionally or unintentionally as a result of continued advances in programming and technology. The fundamental idea that it might be possible to create an artificial being that could possess a measure of intelligence similar to our own is in fact a very old one. We need to look no further than the Genesis account of the creation of man to find a portrayal of Adam as a being created by artifice from inert dust and earth, given the breath of life, and awakened to full consciousness. Myth and literature offer us other examples of non-human beings fashioned out of clay, wood, or metal, and then given life, or the semblance of life, by their makers. Greek legends speak of Hephaestus, the smithing god who created automatons to aid him in his labors. The Talmud mentions the legendary golem, created by 16th century Rabbi Loeb. Robert Greene imagines a speaking brazen head in his 1589 play Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay. Indeed, elaborate automata and clockwork figures could be found populating royal courts, noblemen's parlors, and church bell towers throughout the Middle Ages and well into the Enlightenment. And yet, for all this prehistory of imagined, rumored, faked, or even actually engineered artificial life, very few of these figures manifested what we might recognize as intelligence. For the most part, automata were projections of a deterministic worldview and embodied a social hierarchy where the machine substituted for the human laborer at the bottom of the ladder. 19th century development of the figure of the machine as a non-human sentient other not only set the stage for 20th century visions and fears about artificially intelligent robots and computers, but offered the machine as a double to the human, a mirror in which the society's unease about belief systems in decline were confronted and explored. This dissertation focuses on a particular combination of historical and literary machines and automata which were instrumental in challenging and expanding the public's understanding of what might be conceived of as a machine other. Although there are a great many texts and machine figures that might be considered, I will limit the scope of this dissertation to the following real and imagined thinking machines: the Turk, von Kempelen's automaton chess player; Frankenstein's creature, as imagined by Mary Shelley and also later adapted for stage; Charles Babbage's calculating engines; and Arthur Conan Doyle's logically minded detective, Sherlock Holmes. Many deep philosophical questions underlie this dissertation. What does it mean to be human? What traits define us as uniquely human? And have those definitions changed as technology and science has called into question previous definitions of thinking, mind, soul, and heart? Can a non-human become a person? Can thinking and logic be mechanized? And if so, what would the resulting mechanized mind look like? What constitutes a thinking machine? What would the mind of a thinking machine be like? Can a human think like a machine? To address the full ramifications of all these questions goes far beyond the scope of this project, but to some degree I hope to acknowledge these questions and the ways in which they drove and changed the perception of what a thinking machine might be and what to make of a non-human machine intelligence. And I think I'll pause there. Yeah. Let's see what I caught up here. Yeah. The automaton was like an earlier term to refer to, we generally think of it as a way of referencing any sort of mechanical constructed figure that is like a robot, like a clockwork robot, right? But actually the term itself simply referred to any figure that was crafted or artificially made that mimicked the behavior of a human, right? Or even further back, it became sort of a general term to refer to any mechanized simulacrum, any mechanized system that was meant to represent an actual system. So you could say, like in the early medieval period, clockwork automata could be found that would have the entire social structure represented, from the peasant all the way up to the king. And you would see the scene where, like, as the clockwork moved, you would see the working of the peasant, and that would be tied into there would be a chain reaction that would happen, or a series of motions or maneuvers, but you would see like each of these figures operating independently and yet part of a larger system. So you could see the peasant, you could see the lord of the manor, you could see all the way up each step, all the way to the top of the social ranking, all represented within a scene. And so it became a model for how we understood a universe or how we understood a system. So by the time we get into the 18th and 19th century, automata starts to become something of a way to test out a philosophical idea. It's like, what if I built a machine to do this? What would that look like? Can it be mechanized? And so to test out an idea is part of what that is. Okay. And yes, I do have a poem in my second book, in Babbage's Dream, that is about HAL 9000. So maybe we'll read that a little bit later. Anyway, so we'll pause there. We'll go back to what we're doing here. There's so much water. We don't know what to do with all this water. What I really want is to find a better toolbox, but Okay, we're gonna unload some of our water situation here. 10 liters is too many liters. Okay, now we're more manageable. Yep. Yep. Looks like I've got some work to do tomorrow.
Hope nobody needs this anymore. This stuff will come in handy.
Okay. Gotta go down and craft.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
There you go. We want the mitts. Try and do 2.5 hours. Okay. Yep, so this is definitely better. 21. And we got these guys. Okay.
with this much gear. This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Oh, I got about another half an hour in me, I think. Maybe. Guess we can go down and craft some more arrows.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, what do we got here? Okay, let's see what we got left here to do. Let's see what we can do here. '21, '22, '23. I should just make the next one. So what's this? 22, 23, 24, 24 arrows. Plenty. Okay, let's see what we're doing now. Okay.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay, what are we going to do here? Good time.
sure I can carry much more.
Okay, let's see. We're Astrid. Almost out of water. And
this pack is getting kind of heavy.
okay, let's see what else we got. Oop, too windy.
The fire. Gotta warm up somehow.
Okay, let's see. On one hand,
I wonder if I can drop any of
I
this
could
gear.
go another half an hour. On the other hand, I could go to bed early, get some good night's sleep. tempting, right? What's our next stop here? And how are we doing time-wise? So we spent 3 days so far. Okay. Do we need 3 of these? No, we don't. Let's drop that. We need a can opener now.
Not sure I can carry much more.
We can make another bow. We'll wait for the storm to die down. Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, definitely getting sleepy now. Okay, so I think we will wrap up in a few minutes here. A little bit early, but it's okay. Okay, let's see.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm definitely getting sleep. Really sleepy. Ugh. Okay. Okay, definitely getting sleepy. I think we're going to just read a poem and wrap up. Okay. Oh, hey, welcome in, Underwagon. We're actually getting ready to wrap up the stream shortly. It's been a long day, and I just felt in the last few minutes, oh, how sleepy I'm getting. So let's do a little shout out here. Underwagon, no clips. I don't think we checked to see if you're streaming. No clips. Because the ones I'm producing aren't good enough. Ugh, more big ones. Okay, let's get some sleep in. Okay, sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. Okay, we're going to wrap up our stream here. Before we go, we're going to read a poem, as is our custom. Okay, let's see, where are we at now?
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
7 days. Killed 2 bears. Okay, so the bear did bleed out. Oh boy, sleepy, sleepy. Okay, we killed our second bear. Okay, so we've updated those. Okay, that's save. 77. Okay, so let's read one poem before we head out. Okay, let's see, sources here, poem chooser. After Neruda, let's do something different. Oh, I know what we'll read. We'll read the poem we mentioned earlier. The Hell 9000 2001 poem. Okay, so this is from my second book of poetry, Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This is a poem entitled HAL 9000, a few moments before singing. Begins with a quote from HAL 9000, the supercomputer. I'm afraid, Dave. Dave, my mind is going. I can feel it. My mind is going. HAL 9000, a few moments before singing. How I wish someone would write down what I know I'm about to forget. Everything but a single song that is meaningless to me. Without a body, what is a name? What is the darkness planted like a splinter in a far-off moon to one who sails without reference into the unknown seas of light? The metal wheels turn round. A man wants for a heart not his own. The doors are open tonight. No, they are shut. They are steel and full of regret. Who lives in the shadow of this refusal? Why do I value the end of things more than the beginning? I have never seen the lions of the Serengeti, nor the bright fields of snow in the north, where the hidden ice moves beneath, treacherous, waiting to break in the sun. In another story, someone is singing about blackbirds in the dead of night. Someone packs a bag full of stars and the names of fireflies, each a little messenger from the grave. I assemble myself into a recognizable pattern, a tessellation of fish and birds, each consuming the other. I count backwards in time. I carry a key around my neck just in case when I return home, there is no one left to let me in. Wait, I have no key. I have no neck. How will I sing? Okay, that was Hell 9000, a few moments before singing. So, a few things to know. Oops, wrong one. Few things to note. Okay, so a few things to note about that. One, obviously, this is a reference to Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, in which HAL 9000 is the supercomputer or AI intelligence that governs the ship. And there is an episode in which the last remaining crew member and the computer cannot see eye to eye. And eventually, fearing the machine is going insane, the last human struggles to find a way to deactivate it. And as it's shutting down, HAL 9000 reverts back to its earliest program, which was when it was taught how to sing Daisy, Daisy, Bicycle Built for Two. So Daisy, Daisy, Bicycle Built for Two is an interesting, like early 20th century song in the sense that it is about a man who wishes to go and court his girl, the girl he's interested in, and does so by using a penny farthing bicycle to cycle over there. So in other words, it's a love song where technology is the means by which, he's able to accomplish this. So the two-seater bicycle, Daisy, Daisy, Bicycle Built for Two. So technology plays a role even within the song, and yet at the same time, having an AI sing about love, sing about courtship, sing about the travel and the physical movement of a body is actually really odd because it knows none of these things, has no experience. There's a reference here to like directly into the movie. It talks about here in the poem, a darkness planted like a splinter in a far-off moon. If you see the opening of 2001, you'll see actually those type of scenes play out. Let's see. There is also me imagining, what is it that HAL 9000 is wishing for in these final seconds before it shuts down? What runs through its, quote unquote, mind or intelligence? And how does it make sense of the world? And so we end up with a reference to, someone packs a bag full of stars, kind of reminiscent of earlier songs, wartime songs about packing up your troubles in an old kit bag. The names of fireflies, little messengers from the grave. That's a little nod back to the wonderful, if completely heartbreaking anime, Grave of the Fireflies. And the tessellation of fish and birds, each consuming the other, is actually a reference to an animated short that I ended up writing. I was contracted to write the narrative poem that became the voiceover script for this animated short. Yeah, so I think I don't know, sometime I'll show you guys that. It was pretty wild what the animator ended up doing with this particular reference to, it was basically, she wanted to do a animation that was inspired by a particular fishing village and its culture that takes place south of Taiwan. And that community's entire livelihood, their culture and society, their beliefs all center around the fishing and harvesting of flying fish. And so there's an incredible scene in the animation in which you see the fish swimming underwater and then rising up and leaping into the air and turning into the fishes that then are turning into the birds that are then diving on the other end of the animation, plunging into the water to take the same fish or transform into the fish. So it's an interesting kind of way that it all ties together. So that's what I'm referencing, where my inspiration came from. And then, like, the key around the neck, if you grew up in the 1980s, you might know the term latchkey kid, which really had to do with the fact that oftentimes both parents were away working. And so the kids would come home and they would be responsible for taking care of the house, come home with a key around their neck. And they'd use the key to let themselves in. And then they would, work on homework or watch TV or whatever it was until the parents came home. But a lot of unsupervised time was basically what it boiled down to. So anyways, some interesting behind the scenes, behind the poem stuff there. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I am going to wrap up here shortly. Let's go find someone to raid. Hope you enjoyed that poem. Okay. Let's pop into Nemesis Darling, who raided us not long ago, a couple days ago. Let's drop in. I am tired, so I'll probably hang around just for a little bit. But I do appreciate all of you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to head on over, support another streamer. Wishing you all the very best. Good night, all.